Cam Wurf, Kona bike course record holder, and today we're going to talk about how to use the road to your advantage. For me, in a triathlon, the only time where power or a consistent power output I've found can be the most effective way to ride fast is a velodrome, where there's no wind, there's no undulation, there's nothing. It's just simply just riding around and around in circles in a very controlled environment. Everywhere else, obviously, if you take a course like Kona, where you've got lots of undulations and wind, you need to, I personally have always ride to the conditions, which sort of means putting in different efforts in different parts of the course, focusing on overall speed as opposed to worrying about power. Inevitably, you end up around your average sort of power target that you had, because that average power target is probably what you're capable of. I mean, it's not like you think, okay, I can hold 280 and all of a sudden you hold 300. It just doesn't ever happen. We all know what we're capable of doing, and that's naturally where you're going to fit. But there's obviously two ways to do that, which is do it nice and steady and don't change at that, don't deviate too much from that. Or in certain parts of the course, for example, say you're coming down a nice, fast little off the end of a roller, 5-7%, and you're doing 50, 60 kilometers, 40 miles an hour, 30, 40 miles an hour. And then you come to another little rise and you can see the top of it. It might only be a quarter of a mile high. And you're halfway up it even before you really feel the pinch of a climb. Well, that's an opportunity to actually get out of the seat, really try and maintain the speed. It'll require a little bit of a power spike. Obviously you might go from doing your 250 to maybe 400 or even 450, for a brief period. Carry your speed over the top of the climb. That's the other key. You don't want to just get to the top of the climb and then go, I'm here, and take it easy. You really want to drive it over the top. You want to try and aim to pedal halfway down the other side until you feel like you're at top speed, and then you can have a bit of a rest. And that's sort of the most efficient way, use the road to your advantage and carry your speed up and over a little rise like that. And so I'm constantly, every single Ironman course, riding with that in mind. I don't ever worry about, an average power. Occasionally I might check it to sort of, what you're basically capable of. If it's 300 and your average is 340, you probably know that you need to, be a little bit cautious because you're going to pay for it later on. But generally, I'm just constantly feeling the road. I've always got an idea of an average speed in mind. And I just do what I need to do to hit that average speed. Where you have this issue with spending too much time on the home trainer, but in that you're not out on the road, you don't feel those little things. A lot of it does come from experience. And in my case, it was the national team coach at the time, Bradley McGee, because I was one of the people that had this great power, but I always seemed to fail big time at the world stage in time trials. And I was given opportunity after opportunity to race in the biggest races and the biggest stage, and just didn't perform. Yet there was guys doing the exact same power, finishing 2 to 3 minutes in front of me in a time trial. It was just crazy. And so one day Brad said to me, he said, Cam, just forget about your power meter and ride fast. And it was one of the most eye-opening and freedom, enriching moments in my time trialing. And ever since then, I just don't even think about power. I just obviously think about riding much quicker. Now, back to in training, what you can do to prepare for it. And I know there are people that are sort of stuck inside on a home trainer a lot. And so in that case, you need to teach your body to handle those spikes. So that's something you have to train for. I know they're not pleasant. I know they're not pretty. But I certainly incorporate a lot of extremely high power efforts. It might only be 15 to 30 seconds into a lot of my training, just to teach your body to have that spark and then sort of get back to work on on the pacing that you need to be doing. So that's one way on the home trainer that you can be a little bit prepared for stuff in the race, but you really need the experience on the road or know what you're looking for when you get out there. And so you really need to play around with it when you're out on the road. Like just give yourself a chance to think about, how do I get more speed out of this road? You know, especially when you're on a nice rolling one, and just push a little bit harder up a roller and push a bit harder down it. And then the next one, don't push as hard and maybe push harder over the top, and just sort of see what happens to your average speed and the sensation of your legs and everything like that. It definitely comes with experience, but if you look for it, it's very similar to when you're swimming in the open water and it's extremely rough. If you're stiff and stagnant, every wave is going to whack you and you're going to feel like you're getting drowned. If you can somehow relax and float with it and use the ocean to your advantage, you know, roll down the waves and bounce around, you're going to have a much better swim. And it's the exact same sensation on the bike, be it the wind, be it the little hills. If you can feel just comfortable, relaxed and comfortable with your surrounds, you're going to feel that speed in the road. And it's going to shave minutes and minutes and minutes off your time, because I had the experience at the highest level, and when you looked at average raw power, it was literally minutes difference. I'm Cam Wurf, and that was a little segment about using the course to your advantage.